Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Divine Insight Ministries. I'm Apostle Robert Jenkins. We have my wife with me this morning, and we have Pastor Dave and Sister Lavern with us this morning from Flint, Michigan. But good morning, good morning. As always, we like to take out the time and say thank you. We appreciate all that you do. You know, we have a real powerful, wonderful event coming up in Flint, Michigan on the 24th, which is this Friday, that whole entire weekend. And we wanted to take another time out to be able to explain to you what's going on and be able to invite you to this event if you have not already registered. So we're going to go over some things and share also the move of God, some of our expectations that we're looking for God, so you can see the urgency of making sure that you attend this. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a great time in service, and hope that you're feeling your best. Go ahead and hit that share button. We always want to send that out first. Please hit that share button and share this on your page, especially today. We want you really to share this. If you can share it 2 or 3 times, if you can share it throughout the evening, really push this week. We really want to push this. We're in prayer. All the intercessors, we asking you to please be praying for us and make some phone calls. Let people know that there's a conference coming up. If you're not able to make it, when really stressing this, sponsor somebody and say, look, I have the financial means to do it. I just don't have the availability, but I do want to sponsor somebody. Please do that and keep us in prayer. But good morning. Good to see you, Brother Rogers, Brother Glenn, always faithful. Blessed vision. God bless you, Sister Kendall. God bless you, Brother Demetrius. Miss you, son. We definitely got to talk. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Sister Tara, God bless you. And God bless everybody. So go ahead and hit that share button. Share this on your page. We usually use Mondays for either replays or time to announce different events. So this is a push today because people think that sometimes we have replays on Monday. So please do that. And also share on your page and tag somebody. Let them know how they're on live. Pastor Rogers, we had a great time last time they were here. Really got into some real great discussion about the toolbox and things like that. And so this is exciting time. So please do that. God bless everybody. Sister Cindy Moe, God bless you. God bless you. So God bless everybody. So welcome, Pastor David and Sister Laverne. How y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing great.
Doing all right, Apostle.
Doing
Lady
great.
Jenkins, how y'all
Yes.
doing?
We're doing wonderful here in the cold.
Good, honey.
Prayerfully, we won't get no snow. We know that Lady Jenkins is looking forward to snow. So get your coats ready. Yeah.
Are we gonna get snow? We gonna have snow? Is it gonna be snow when we get
A
there?
little bit. I think a little bit. Third Wednesday and Thursday, maybe kind of like rain, sleet type snow, but
Yeah, rain,
Well, if
sleet
I don't,
on Thursday. Yeah, the weekend is clear. The weekend
Okay.
is clear.
yeah,
So
that's okay with it though, because I can't enjoy. I'm on crutches right now, so
oh yeah.
yeah.
yes, all is
Well,
well. We're excited.
I tell you one thing, I'm getting jealous, and I don't get jealous much. This is the second time y'all came on with these nice shirts. And last time y'all had the mother. Now y'all got the power couple shirts. Now I want a set of both shirts. I'm the last shirt y'all got, I don't know what y'all got to do.
Yes, we have to break these back out when we celebrated
Like,
our.
coming on
Yes,
with the
we
power. I like that. I
right.
like that. So
Yes.
that's one of the things that we may be able to talk about. If not, next time we come back, we'll talk about this. The importance of couples enjoying that union, sometimes dressed in alike, going out to dinner and things like that make your marriage healthy. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
sometimes we don't do that when it comes to marriage. You may do it for a family reunion. Everybody will wear the same shirt, or you may have an event at your church and everybody have the same t-shirt on. But a lot of times as couples, what we do to unify that, and sometimes unifying in your dress and things like that. Me and my wife, we are blessed to spend so much time together. When we were both working, we both worked at the same place. And so you need some things that kind of unify y'all together. Just cute things, having on the same hat or whatever the case may be. But I think that's important. So I love that when you have that. And then when you proud to advertise your relationship, that's a healthy. A lot of times people are still advertising their singleness even when they marry. The way they dress, they don't dress as if they married. That type of thing. When you're single, you take care of yourself, you work out, because you want to advertise yourself. Then when you get married, you let yourself go. And so I love when we we have to re-emphasize some things that is important for marriages to keep together. Since Lavern got that little laugh on her face, like Apostle.
I'm ready.
There
Look,
you go,
look, I'm
Apostle.
ready, Apostle.
Yes. No, but that's good, Apostle. Things like that does help keep the unity. These shirts are from when we went out of town last year, celebrated our 22nd, anniversary, and actually we hadn't wore them, in a while. We often do that when we go out of town, but that's good just to do it on a regular basis, to keep that unity, that oneness,
Right.
and
Right.
Let them know these muscles belong to me.
Oh Lord Jesus. She got me pulling my sleeves down, Apostle. Yeah. See, y'all see what I gotta put up with now.
Listen, if he gonna wear it out there while he working out, might as well let him know this belong to me. Hey, it's all mine.
And be proud of it, because even though we're laughing and having a good time, you'd be surprised of the attack that marriages go to, and either the male or the female doesn't feel appreciated anymore when it comes to the body. One of the things that the enemy attacks is how we feel about one another in the image. You know what I'm saying? A man can feel like, I'm really not appreciated for who I am. I'm just a workhorse, just the money part. The woman can feel like she's not attractive anymore to her husband, her femininity. And so those things need to be they need to be exercised, or need to be made aware of, and have a level of investment in that. I think it's important. And we're talking to the whole world. It's important for a husband to let the wife know, if you want to get your nails done, that means a lot to me if it means a lot to you, because her feeling good about herself matters. Nails done, hair done, glasses, whatever that helps her in her femininity. Women go through a lot of emotional changes, and it shows up more in their physical, how they feel about themselves. A lot of women don't feel like that I'm the apple of your eye anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I talked about last week in some of the teachings, one of the worst things you can have in a relationship is a roaming eye, because the woman feels like, someone else has your attention. You know what I'm saying? And so she deals with that, even when it comes down to her weight and different things like that. A man may feel like that, but not as bad. But some men still Beijing because they're not able to enjoy their greatness, or as they get older, or you get a pot belly as a man. So how you feel. And so there's different body parts on the outside that need to be. I don't care if you gain a little weight. I don't care if you're getting a little older. It doesn't matter. I love you. And what do we do to sustain that level of attraction, as we get older? You know what I'm saying? One of the things that people compliment me and my wife is the gray. And we use that. That's a part of our glory. That's a part of the ministry. It's a part of our image. And we don't feel bad about it. I don't feel incomplete. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to do that. And so I think that's important in the relationship. So if it's nothing down to, buying jewelry from one another, or wearing the same clothes, or holding hands, all those things are important. You know what I'm saying? Back rubs, or looking at one another. Are you still looking at one another in the eyes of one another when you communicate? These are real silent things, but can make you feel good about yourself. Especially when a woman is getting dressed. How do I look? That's a famous question. And you got to know how to respond to that. You know what I'm saying? And reveal to them that I see your beauty on the inside and on the outside. And it don't matter if you're changing on the outside, it's because of my love for you that it enhances your beauty. I see something different than what everybody else sees. Everybody else may see muscles, but I'm seeing a man of integrity with muscles. And so there's a difference there. And we need to know that, because we never want to face certain voices from the enemy as you get older and your body changes, your tone changes, and all of a sudden now you're attacking your mate when it's not your mate. Your mate still loves you. Your mate still thinks you're beautiful, but because of how you feel about your image, you will attack your mate and give them your demons, or you'll give them your feelings. You see what I'm saying? And that becomes a lot of, so that's why you're starting to have people seem to be roaming out, or it's easy for visitors to come into your space because you feel insecure. You know what I'm saying? And so those things. And so I think that's powerful. It's something as simple as a t-shirt, but you'd be surprised of the voices that it stopped, because we are together and we're proud to be together. You know what I'm saying? You need that because that's one of the first, and we'll talk about this at the conference. The first foundation in every relationship usually is some form of attraction.
That's right.
Yeah, before I even got a chance to know you, there's some form of attraction. That's something I was attracted by. And many times we let the foundation of that go to waste. So now we just workers. Now we just having babies. Now we just paying bills. But that first level has never been invested since we got married. You know what I'm saying? So that's very
that attraction, especially from a male, perspective, because women are more emotional. Males are more visual. Male will go off of what they see is not the first. I see the God in you. I see the the Christ in you. Is we look at the outward appearance, and you said some very, very great things that we should be the first one to compliment each other, because especially for women, you hit on that women's bodies go through changes. They have babies, and I should be the one to tell my wife that you look good, so that when somebody else comes and tell her she looks good, it has already been told to her. That's why I think it's in the book of Micah. He said, remember the wife of your youth, because sometimes we forget about, that attraction that we first, that drawn us to each other. She looked just as beautiful now as she did, back then. And we have to see that. So as you talked about, those eyes won't go roaming, everywhere. If you bring that up under subjection, you'll get lost. Your eyes will be somewhere else, your mind will be somewhere else. Next thing you know, your actions are going to only do what's coming from your mind and your thoughts.
That's right.
Yeah. We don't want that. That's called death row.
I always want to remember the wife of the wife, the youth of my wife. Yeah, when we first,
baby, remember,
I
baby.
remember. I see it. Yeah, I love it.
So Lavern said, "Yeah, you better remember."
Remember that.
It's gonna be like the Michael Jackson song. Do you remember?
The first time. You remember the first time?
Oh Lord Jesus! Y'all too much this morning.
Yeah, because that's when we first met. When I think I mentioned it last time. She saw, me. It was like, it wasn't. She just I see the God in him, or I see one day he's going to be a pastor. She was attracted to the outward, as vice versa. And we went from there. We built on that.
Nothing.
Yeah, you can't let it stop right there. You have to build on top of that.
Build on it.
Right.
But that's
remember that.
That's right. And that's a big door, because it has a lot to do with our self-esteem and how we believe that people are connected to us. Now, like you said, you don't want that to be the only thing, but that's important. And it's important because the minute that a marriage doesn't work, a minute that a divorce take care, you go right back to taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see all of a sudden the man is, hey man, you look nice, man. You and your wife got a divorce. Yeah, man, he looking suave and he got to smell good on. It's like, why weren't you doing that for your wife? You know what I'm saying? You let that go when you got married. Now you single, you know what I'm saying? You're not trying to be. And a lot of times we move too far into the work part of it instead of appreciating one another. And this is what happens. The Jewish community, they believe the first 2 years, y'all should only be with one another. That's why a lot of times in the Jewish community, you have to marry the wife. You have to have enough money to support her for at least the first 2 years that she don't have to work. That's y'all time. They're released from all church duties, and they go on vacations, and they spend time to know one another, because they believe that, you're supposed to get married as a virgin. And so that was your time to get to know one another intimately, because y'all have never been intimate. That's time to really sit down and talk. And they believe that in those first 2 years, you get to know, because a lot of times your marriage get infiltrated by kids, by jobs, by working. So you still really don't know your mate, really, especially if you save and you dating, y'all not supposed to have sex. So it rushes you to get married quicker. So you didn't date for a year or two. You don't even date 6 months, because we don't want to do the wrong thing. We don't want to fall, all those different things. Sometimes you have blended families. So it rushes you. The next thing you know, you go right from, you never get a chance to be the wife. You rushing right into being motherhood and fatherhood, right into the duties part of it. And so now y'all don't really get a chance to kindle that part, to be friends, to laugh and to joke about that, to hold hands, and really enjoy that. And once kids come in and jobs come in, then that level of intimacy, and that's something I hope we get a chance to talk about too, because now you have to schedule it. You really have to schedule it. When because when you're single, you make sure when you go into a house that you're not tired, because you want to be able to have your best strength. Most married people, when they're in the intimate stages of the relationship, it's already 10, 11 o'clock at night. You're already tired. You don't really have momentum, so you're not really giving that part of it your best. See what I'm saying? You're not giving that part of it your best, and that happens. And then sometimes the way things go, it may be sometimes a week or 2 weeks before some marriages. You know what I'm saying? Now, some marriages, when they first get married, they're not gonna go that long. But as you get older, and so you have to know how to have. There's so much within the time frame that we do something that it has quality of it, not quantity of it, and knowing how to shift from that. But that's you shouldn't go into the marriage with that. You should know how to make time for your marriage. And so that's very key. So it's little stuff that you can do that brings that connection. Learning to have compliments. My wife very rare lets me go through a day without telling me she loved me. And she very rare goes through a day without asking me, do you love me? Not because she don't know, but it brings that level of communication. Let's have our love language. And how much language in relationships are just about y'all. See, it's another thing that messes up marriages. Too much is about kids, problems, cars, and those things need to be taught. But you can't give 1% to y'all and 99% to everything else.
Especially when you're doing ministry, because that takes a toll on you. It takes a lot, and most marriages don't have that balance.
Right.
It's about balance. It may not always be 50-50. It's a give and take. You have to learn how to balance that, because when it's unbalanced, something is going to receive more attention than the other. And most of the time, that thing that needs the most attention, that's the thing that go neglected.
Right.
Yeah. You didn't got so far out there. I was talking about drifting from a different perspective. Drifting, it doesn't just happen just like that. Drifting is over a period of time, slowly. And we really don't realize that we have drifted until we're out in the middle of the ocean. It didn't start there. It started with little hit and misses. The time that was spent away from working, and like you said, when you go on a vacation, sometimes the first day might be spending up just on getting rest because you just so worn out.
Right.
Before you start anything else. So that's good.
And I'll say this too, this is why, for those who are listening in the comment section, those who are listening across the country, it's why you need to be there. Because even though it's a conference, this conference is designed for us to invest into your marriage. We're going to pour information to your marriage, but it's also time for y'all to enjoy one another. You're in a hotel room. The kids are not there. You're able to have that quality time. Now, this is the time to make some serious investments. You'd be surprised that when you're by yourself, y'all still bring everybody else to the hotel with you in your mind. This is the time that you ain't supposed to bring that.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised at the couples who've never been trained how to leave stuff at the house. You don't even know how to do it. A lot of times me and my wife get in the car, we go, I'll say, let's just have fun, just me and you. Let's not bring up the kids. And there's other times when we need to huddle up about what's going on in our marriage. And so that's how we discuss about the kids and what we're praying for and what we're putting on the altar. But there's other times when this is our time to laugh. This is our time to enjoy one another. And you got to know how to do that. And a lot of times you'll take a vacation, but you'll bring everything with you. You'll be surprised of the unbalance we have when it comes to the level of when it comes to the phone. Like, can you really put that phone down and don't pick it up?
Yeah.
Don't glance. And even sometimes when you have to glance, you'll find out how much control you don't have. Because you started out, you just said, I'm just going to read one thing. It's been 30 minutes. It ain't that long. You back to your addiction. They pull you right back in. And these are problems. You got to learn, because what happens is you're going to run into another set in your marriage when your kids is gone. You're going to kind of find out y'all don't even like one another. Never enjoy one another past an hour.
That's true.
So now the kids is gone. Y'all getting involved with other stuff when it should have been y'all time.
Right.
Y'all taking on other stuff and you
Mhm.
see, to rush you to grab other people's problems, you know what I'm saying? Because you're doing something because you don't know how to be to your husband. A lot of wives don't know how to give their husband all their time. Because especially as a woman, because you've already been split, you've been raising the kids, you wear all these different hats. And so now when God is letting your marriage become seasoned, it's time to move into your 15, 20 year of your marriage. You don't know how to be everything for him. And so
Mhm.
when you're not split, you're not comfortable. And that can bring a frequency to the man. Like, I'm not enough. You always have to have these things. And sometimes men do it. They have to always have toys. You know, just spend time with me. Just talk to me. Don't bring up anything. How much am I in the room of laughter? Am I in the room of intimacy? Am I am in the room of your intellect? In other words, can you have intellectual conversations with me? Can you have fun conversations with me? Can you have all the different things that you've been splitting in other areas? Can I become a part of those rooms?
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
very important. See what I'm saying? So that let me know because sometimes we may do well on the friendship level when it comes to laughter, but we can't study together. Oh, we
Yeah.
can't work together. See, or
Mhm.
sometimes we got the prayer together, but we can't laugh and eat ice cream together. The minute
Mhm.
we go to do something, we bring up the kids. Like,
Yeah.
no, let's eat ice cream and laugh at one another.
Mhm.
Mhm. That's good.
You
Yeah.
know,
That's right.
say, baby.
Yeah, it's just I'm just like really listening and because I always say I take it first, but yeah, this is it's very important that we do for marriages. It's very important that we always show the interest, not only just be by just sitting, but show that you're interested in the me in any means of communication because it's very important.
Yeah.
And just know that sometimes whatever you may feel, it may not seem as is though that important to your mate, but when you have an attentive ear, it becomes just as important to them as it is to you. It becomes as important to me as it is to you. So yeah, I think that's very good. And like even like you were saying about with children, having kids, and it doesn't always mean just having small children, having grown children. Having grown children, the majority of the time will be a lot of conversation in your marriage because you know you raise children, you're very attached to your children, and you are the first go-to person that your kids call when things surface. So you're always there being mom. You'll never stop being mom. Sometimes you like my husband said, you change, we wear so many hats as a mother. So we have to go from being mom to counselor to everything that they need us to be for them. So then, like you said, when we do have our time together and we go and try to enjoy life and enjoy ourselves, it's okay to put it on ice till you get back, or just, go with the intention of we're going to have a great time, so, and my husband and I, we have a lot of fun. I mean, like, I love to laugh. That's my thing. I am a giggle box. I have a great sense of humor. God gave it to me and I use it. So that's why I don't want to Brenda Weiss would say, forget them kids.
Yeah. They'll be
Bree,
all right. Right.
Bree
Right.
said they'll be all
Yeah,
right.
they'll be all right. That's right.
I have a sense of humor God gave me, and I
Feel
love
bad about
it.
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Some
so that's
people feel bad about leaving the kids and letting
Right.
them
yeah.
be. You got to
But
be all right. They're going to be all right.
you have to understand that you deserve that time away. It's not that I'm abandoning my kids, but it's just that you know what? You have to have that quality time. You have to have some me time. You have to have some time of whatever you desire to do that's gonna like just give you that how they say it, Musa.
Yeah.
Just take that break. Take that break. It's okay to take that break. Because guess what? We were designed to take that break. When if you don't take that break, you're gonna break. You're gonna
Yeah,
be broken.
Kids.
that's
And
right.
it's a great thing. It really does. Because you know what? Not taking those breaks causes fractures in your relationship.
Yeah,
It
Mhm.
causes fractures in your title, just being mom, just being dad. Because I don't take enough time to really empty out and go back and be filled again.
Mhm.
Sometimes we have to take that time to kind of release everything we had to take in.
Mhm.
And then when we go back, we're adjusted, we're ready, and we can regroup. We go back, we're refreshed, we're comfortable, we're not all agitated and from the last thing we may have talked about or something like that. Yeah, it's very important. It's very important. It's important to listen to your children, but sometimes, you know what? okay, mama need a break. We'll get right back to it. Let me think about it. Yeah. But having that time, that quality time, even if you're not married, let's say that, even if you're a single parent, because we don't want to make it just seem like it's just the couples, but even if you're a single parent, even the more, take time.
And I would say this too, and there's a healthy jealousy that you must create. A negative, I'll give an example. A negative jealousy would be, let's say what my wife just said, absolutely true. But if I don't, as a man, I don't want to feel like we're taking this vacation as an obligation because we need to restore so we can get back to the kids. I want to feel like you desire to be with me privately.
That's good.
Not an obligation for because we're breaking down. No, do you want to spend time with me?
Yeah.
Am I the desire of your heart?
Yes.
See what I'm saying? Because I don't want, because if I'm not your desire, I'm just your resting pole for you to run right back into what is already you causing a negative jealousy for me. I'll become jealous of the kids. I'll become jealous of other things you're doing, not because it's wrong with what you're doing, not because I'm against what you're doing, but because where's my desire for me? See, and that's important. Now, a positive jealousy, God is a jealous God. When you love something, the jealousy comes in when it's not the object of your eye anymore. See, God don't want no other gods before him. He ain't trying to share that. And so we gotta quit making our couples feel like, you know what, I'm with you, yeah, but okay, let me get some rest because I'm broken down. No, you don't desire me anymore. See what I'm saying? You always need something else to entertain you because I'm not enough. That's a problem. So it's not that we're getting away from the kids to get rest, which we do need rest. We don't want to break down, but it's also I'm tired of sharing all my time with everything else when I really love being with you. We have a great time being together. Matter of fact, the kids should feel jealous because y'all ain't called us in a whole week. Yeah, good. Because I really want to be with this person. See, they need to feel that you are the extra, not the husband.
And they need to see that as being an example.
He the first place, you second, not him second. Because most of them in our marriages, we give our mates the residue of what we have. That's not fair. It's not fair to give them the residue.
Yes.
They didn't work out. So, okay, come on, husband. I'm tired now. And then did everything with the kids. Hurry up and get your. It's like trying to pray. When you tired, you fall asleep in the middle of the prayer because you giving God like God's like you laying in the bed to my Lord.
Leftovers.
Come on, stop.
You get the leftovers. Yeah.
We let other things, and this is even biblical. If you go to Genesis chapter 3, which we're not trying to make this as a Bible study, when Eve gets pregnant, he said, your desire shall be to your husband, and he shall have rule over you. God never mentioned rule before. But when they broke that covenant with God being over him, he established the man now to be lead, but he let her know, I know what's in your womb. And because what's in your womb, you're going to change your attraction. You're going to start having more time with that baby than you have your husband. Don't do it. So he says, let your desire be to your husband. Because many things that we birth, and this is for men that's in ministry, you birth in that ministry, but you ain't spending time with your first ministry, which is your wife. That's out of order. You lost your desire because of what you're carrying. So now every time the husband want to kiss the baby, don't wake the baby up, the baby, or the ministry, that's the baby that came before it. You know what I'm saying? That's a problem. That's a problem.
Yes, a big problem.
Whatever you birth, whether it's your idea, whether it's your creativity, whether it's your business, whether it's your ministry, it don't have first ranks over the husband or over the wife.
Yes.
And so that's a problem. And a lot of times we do that. And so the husband don't feel like I'm her desire. She'll get to me. Now, come on, that ain't how it work. She'll get to me. You know what I'm saying? And so we going on vacation, and it's almost like she can't wait to get on vacation because I got to see what the kids doing. Like, stop it! Like your mind should not be on how they doing. I wonder if they ever got there. You checking? Ain't no checking.
Yeah.
Check in with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And not only check in to see how I'm doing. Let me feel that you want to be here. See, You enjoy me, not you just use me
Yeah.
Or tolerate me.
or need me, right? I'm not just the obligation. You know what I'm saying? I'm the desire.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's important because it builds healthy foundation. Because the devil knows if that's not there, and when the minute all the other things that were distracting you from what you really wasn't connected to, now you're left to that, and now y'all saying, you know, I don't think it's marriage. That's how marriages go 17 and 20 years and they end up breaking up. They end up breaking up when all the things they were leaning on that really had their heart is no longer there. So now you see y'all was never friends. Y'all can't stand one another. After hour, y'all can only be together 45 minutes. After that, something gonna come up. Something in the past gonna come up.
The 45-minute max.
I don't like this, man. So let's cut this off quick because it's going somewhere. Let's cut this off quick because it's going. Because y'all really learned how to really enjoy one another. Y'all can't be in the park 45 minutes. What you saying? Every time we come here, you always do this. See, every time.
Every time.
Every time.
That's true. That
But people can't even have dinner without being on their phones. When you go into the restaurant, you look around, everybody's like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody, even the kids. If you see a family, everybody's on these devices, which I think messes up a lot of things too. So
it's a big enemy. It's one of the biggest distractions because that's something that I'm supposed to be giving you and bring that to you.
Right.
We have become our relationship is built upon things that are robotic. See, the phone is robotic. Can't feel you. And so it becomes more robotic. So you really don't know how to be real. Yeah. Everything is becoming artificial because 90% of the things you deal with is artificial. You know what I'm saying?
Let me say this too, honey.
Go ahead.
I think it's very important, as parents, that we even begin to explain these things to our children. We have to not, because the last thing we want to do is make them feel like they're a burden or they're a problem or whatever. So when we're taking our time or we just getting away for a little while, it's important that we give them the understanding of, we just need a break. It's not that you're this and that. Don't make them feel like you're tired of them, because you have to bring balance to that as well, because we don't want to hurt, harm, or offend our children. So, we explain to them, mom and dad need to rest. We're going away for a few days. We'll only call if it's important. I entrust you to do what's necessary while we're gone. So don't let us go and relax without having problems and without thinking, things are going on that shouldn't be going on or what have you, and then there's a level of explanation for different groups because, if you have small children, somebody's watching your kids. But even as small kids, you say, mommy and dad is going to wait for a little while. We'll be right back. We love you. Give them that security of, that talk is their security blanket while you're gone. And then as you get to the next stage and the next age group, explain to them, we need to go for a little bit. This is our mom and dad time. We're going to take a little break and have you. Yeah. And I think it's important that we do bring that balance to our children because, it's going to be something that's going to be done throughout the marriage. So they begin to really recognize is when it's that time. And sometimes, they'll even sometimes see that mom and dad look a little tired. Mom, y'all need to take a break. They'll see that it was something with mom and dad when they came back that they were relaxed. They were more calm, or they just felt like they looked like they were refreshed. And then they'll start in part saying, after a while, mom, dad, y'all need to take a break. So yeah, it's important that we even begin to incorporate our children in our decision making of that timing because they'll begin to recognize not only when we say it that they'll be prepared for it, but they'll recognize too that it's needed. So that's important as well.
We're gonna answer some questions, and I agree with that. Just making sure that it's not. This is for couples that are listening. There's a difference between giving clarity and direction versus asking for permission. Your children, when your children see love in the home, they will automatically know how to position themselves by what they saw. In other words, if y'all loving in the home, they was raised up under a loving home. They was raised up under daddy kissing mama and mama kissing daddy. So when vacation time comes, they already know this is just a more private of what we already see publicly. So it don't have to be that I need to warn you about to happen. No, that's what we do. That's what mama and daddy do. This is a loving environment. And so they know vacation is just their private time of more of what we see publicly in this house anyway. And so then it's easy. It's not like I'm hoping to let me share this with y'all, and I want y'all to be okay with this. No, I'm not asking you to
No,
be
not from that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm making it clear because a lot of married couples, they still giving their children too much permission for y'all to be that. The kids know, they should know I'm raising you to leave. Raising you to leave. You got to leave mother and father. The purpose of the marriage is if your wife is not having a healthy love for her husband, or husband don't have a healthy love for his wife, you ain't giving the kids healthy love. I don't care what you're giving them, because you give it from a poison or perverted or let's say a poison or perverted foundation. And so vacation and spending time is nothing but it's no different than church. If you ain't having church at your home, then going to church is wrong. It's religion.
Right.
See what I'm saying? It's religion. It should be public church is only an extension of private church that I'm already doing. Mama already prays. They just going to church to pray this time. Ain't that much of a shift. It's just a transition from different places. Mama and daddy always show love to one another. They just going around this week to do it. You know what I'm saying? They always do it. And so when we see that, and we'll get into that, because they need to see love. They need to see love, not thinking that because when they see love, then they won't thinking we being abandoned so they can be. No, we're being abandoned. They doing what they always do in front of us. This is just their private time to do it. When I go worship at church, you just seeing my private worship publicly. That's what I do at home. I speak tongues at home. I shout at home. I cry at home. So it ain't like I need to do that. And so when the kids is raised up under that healthy environment, they don't see it as abandonment. Oh, y'all leaving us? No. Matter of fact, they push you to do it. Like you said, they'll push you to do it because that's what they see. They want that love to be bigger because they understand the residue of that love on them. It's because of the love that they have before one another. Look how wonderful our relationship is. And then, and guess what? And when they go to get in relationships, they'll look for that example.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Them in that, you know what I'm saying? This will stop people calling you at 2:00 in the morning. You getting out of your bed going to see them. No. That ain't how it worked. I never saw that in my home. See what I'm saying? My mother never had to sneak off to be with somebody. See what I'm saying? They never had to do that. And so when you do it that way, it is a release. Your kids is released. I'm saying, mama, you've been great as a mama. Daddy been great as a dad. So we ain't trying to say we ain't having time. Y'all been giving us great time. So we don't want to become the thieves out of saying that's your obligation. See, many times we let our kids become thieves because we feel like we robbing from them. You raise them to go. The same thing with membership. Quit making membership slaves. I'm bringing you in, cleaning you, training you, and releasing you to do what you do.
Yes, that's good. Yes.
You go to the first grade, ain't nobody abandon you because next year you didn't come back to the class. You're not a first grader. Get to the next class. You're in the second grade now.
Yes.
Get going.
Our kids to do that, through that love, when they get married, they won't feel like they abandoned their kids. They won't feel like that. And then it makes you be responsible because when y'all are home, do your job as a parent. You know what I'm saying? Because if you didn't do your job as a parent, when it comes time for you and your husband to have his time, now you feel like, well, what about the kids? Well, you should have been raised them up to be able to handle this time. See what I'm saying? That's very key. So, I mean, we really get into a lot of things because it's like, and we're gonna talk about. I hope we're gonna talk about this. There's so much to talk about. When kids is on summer school, if you do nothing for your kids all summer, why would you think they're excited about you and your husband when y'all going on vacation? Because when they was on school vacation, you spent no time with them. See, there are things that are off that now we don't know how to celebrate one another's time. Because mama, you do nothing with me on weekends. You do nothing with me during the summer. But all of a sudden, you want to spend time with dad. Not that you should not want to spend time with dad, but when do you make my vacation time so I can understand your vacation time? See, when do you need quality time outside of the school and doing my chores so I can understand you and dad's time? See, we teach by example.
Right. Give me a reflection of what it looks like.
Exactly.
You know, I want my own reflection. I know
Exactly.
you saying you guys go away, you come home, you say how much fun we had, but
I'll never
we
go
didn't
away.
get none.
So we don't never do nothing.
Let me enlighten me on what it's like. You know, let me experience what y'all experience when y'all away. You know, they may not know the full extent of what you're doing, but what I know, all I know is when you come back, you enjoyed yourself.
Right.
So let me give us the opportunity. Let us feel it. Let us experience it. You know, and I think it should be.
Right. It has to be.
Yeah.
See, and that's God's order. You know, like I said, He told Adam, you got to leave mother and father and cleave into the wife.
That's right.
That's important.
That's
you know
right.
So when she comes in, she knows that the wife, you know, her job is to bring virtue to her marriage. A man who finds a wife finds a good thing and attain favor. And so there are things that's connected there. You see what I'm saying? If there are things that has to be produced, if y'all not spending that quality time together, then what kind of babies are you producing? And it's a bad thing. Your wife is carrying somebody else's baby because she's spending time with something else.
That's
See,
right
That's
there.
good right there. That's
you gotta be very, because a lot of times a wife is carrying her son's baby. You spend more time with your sons. You spend more time with your boss. You spend more time. See what I'm saying? So you gotta know that as well. See, because sometimes you're raising somebody else's kids. Sometimes, and so that's the very key. And some men, you got another woman pregnant because you spending more time with that womb than you spending with your.
Wow.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So all these, we got to make it plain because these things become problems.
That's right.
I want to be able to bring up stuff. I want to, at this conference, I want men that they don't have to say nothing. Everything they've been saying in their mind, they want to say, I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna tell the wives what they've been thinking, and my wife will tell the husbands what the wives been thinking.
Yeah.
That's talk.
Yeah.
If I spend 4 hours in the man cave, but I notice that when we go to the mall, I can't be in there 5 minutes with her. I'm gonna meet you in the car. Well, I didn't meet you in the car when I went to see these type of things.
That's right. That's real
That
talk.
part.
Yeah.
And this is growth in our marriage. My wife likes to go thrift store. I ain't kidding about no thrift stores, but that's something she loves to do. Right. So I take her, and the season is shift. We don't go as much as we used to, but we used to go to 3 or 4 of them a week. I found out what all of them at.
Yeah,
I know,
because it's my hobby.
That's her hobby. But
it's
watch
my
this.
hobby.
But here's the mystery. I tell men, it wasn't mine, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I go sit down. Don't leave her. Don't sit in the car. I go in the thrift store with her. Find me a couch. Find me a chair. That's why I do ministry on the phone while I'm with her, because I'm not going to leave her as if. And the reason why I do it, because I want to know, I want to be with you in something that you enjoy. I want to see now. Me doing that, I started to like thrift stores. So sometimes I go in there and I'm shopping too. I'm looking. So some of hers there's been exchange, right? But one reason why I do it, let me tell you the real reason why I do it. Because I want her to go to the music store with me and not sit in the car and not go to the store down the street. And I want her to be in the music store.
And Lowe's.
You know what I'm saying? And see, she don't like it. But
I go.
But that's the whole thing. The whole thing is that learning the exchange, because what happens is we force marriages to be unbalanced. See?
Yes.
But you ain't sitting with me. I can be with you in music stores. Well, just like you don't like music stores, I didn't like thrift stores. So let's learn. And guess what? The more she learned, because she loved me and see the smile on my face, it ain't about going to the music store. It's about seeing my husband smile. It's finding out what is on his heart. Yeah. Oh man, he really like headphones. I ain't thinking about headphones. Or it's understanding his passion at a level that you didn't understand it. These really cost that much money?
Yeah.
See? Because if I don't understand his passion, when he wants to take money out to get something,
and that was me.
There's a battle. You ain't gonna spend that kind of money on that because you have no understanding about something that means
right.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's true.
See what I'm saying?
Because that definitely was me. Because I'd be like, "Babe, you serious? Like, you really want to? What you gonna do with that?" That was my. And I know you play keyboards, drums, so I know you're gonna do what you have to do with it. But I'm like, you really have to get that, Because to me, if it's not something I do, I'm like, what are you gonna do with that? But
it helps us
then I learned because just being interested in what he's interested in.
That's the key,
and
right there.
and really not doing it in a fake way. you're doing it because you really want to support what he does. I want to enjoy what you enjoy because I know when I depend on you to do something with me, you're there. You're always there. So I just, I just begin to enjoy it. And it's like, it was a learning experience and it still is because it's like the things, even though I didn't do them, now I sing, yes, but I don't play music. But then as he began to do whatever it is that he do, I just began to just incorporate myself in it because, I don't even know how to play music, but I have an ear for music. But sometimes he's in here on his keyboard and I can hear something. I say, no, Ben, I could go right to the keyboard and hit the keys because I know sounds, I know tones. I know, I just know keys to music. So that, I'm still one with him because that's what he does.
And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that she do play keyboards because I play keyboards and we're one. So we play keyboards. I'm looking for the one. We love thrift stores because eventually the intimacy, the two become one. Become one. And guess what? This is how, and what I'm teaching right now, Pastor C put something in here. Got a few. We're going to answer some questions.
And then, Apostle, I want to make a comment on that. You get to learn each other, and then it helps you to do things or get things for them, regardless if it's a Christmas gift or a birthday gift. And then you get them something. You get them something that they don't like. And you offended and you mad by it, whether I remember it happened one time with some perfume. I got my wife some perfume. I liked it, but because perfumes and cologne have different smell. And she said she didn't like it. I'm kind of like, what? You don't like this? I like this. Well, did I take the time to go to the mall with her and try some sample to see whether she liked, because I'm getting offended because I got her something that I like, but not necessarily what she like and what she loved. So it helps you to go out.
But
I'm just sorry about that. I got her something she ain't like it. I'm like, hold up.
I'm good about don't buy me nothing because if you don't know what I like, don't bring me nothing.
Yeah.
Just period. Don't do it. I can appreciate the kindness of your heart, but I would rather not have anything. I would prefer that you know exactly what I like.
Yeah. And see, most of the time we don't know because we haven't taken the time. We haven't taken the time to learn each other, know what each other like.
And that's what I'm saying. You got to learn your mate, right?
Now, you got to know your mate.
Yeah.
I'm like you, Sister Lavern. I don't want you to give me what you want me to have. I want you to give me what I want to have.
What I want.
Right, exactly. That's how I think.
That's
right. But my wife is different. So, but guess what? That's the two becoming one. I learned to honor how her laws for life. She learns to honor mine. One of the best gifts I've ever had when she bought me the keyboard, right? Yeah. I always dreamed of having that keyboard from the time it came out, right? Never thought I would ever own it, right? Now, my wife, when we first got married, going to the music store wasn't her thing. When I'm going to the music store, when she go to the thrift store, I will go in with her. When I go to the music store, she found another stores to go to. I'm going there and I'm down there, right? But we got better at it. She started to come in with me, started to realize I'm a musician at another level. Like I started to understand her. Like when I first got married to her, I didn't really know how to buy gifts. I never saw my dad ever buy my mother anything. I don't know. I don't have any physical examples of men treating their wives right. I have none. All the pastors that I was under that married, they hated their wives. So my wife, my first 2 years, she would say, I want you to do something for me. Do something for me. Birthdays would come by, I wouldn't do it, right? But going to the thrift store, watching my wife, just taking down my wall and learning her, it helped me solve that problem. I started noticing that she was ordering off of Amazon. And I used to complain because there was a package coming in every day from Amazon. But then I realized, watch this. Then I realized that's it. Let me get on Amazon. I could give her something. I didn't know how to do it. I don't know what to do. So when I realized she likes Kato's. So this is what I started doing. I want to be one with her. See, I want to be one with her. So she go to Kato's, I'm going in too. So I figured out, so I started out, what's your size? I wear this size. Okay, cool. I got the size now. Okay, cool. I got that down. What's the store? I only shop at Cato's. Good. Everywhere we go, we're gonna find a Cato.
I can relate. I can relate. Yeah. I ain't never heard of Cato's, but I can relate to what you're talking about.
So I start getting on Amazon. So
every state we go in, he gonna find a Cato store.
I'm gonna find a Cato's.
Every state we go
I know to buy roses now. I don't wait for Valentine's Day. I buy roses all the time. If it goes, not 1 month gonna go by where at least roses not gonna be there. Even though I know she don't like roses, even though she like roses, she don't like them. I know why she don't like them. She don't like them because they die. So I know I got to keep them fresh because when they die, that's the sad part about it. See, that's becoming one that matters to me. That I even know that I don't say, well, I don't get her roses because she don't like roses. No, why she don't like roses? She like roses. She don't like that they die.
I love roses.
She love roses, so keep them alive. See what I'm saying? I learned that. So guess what? On birthday times and stuff like that, I get on Amazon. Christmas time, I get on Amazon. I had a gift coming here 2 weeks early. Every day, a different gift was coming. Every day. I don't know how to do it now. I didn't have a dad, never have an example, but I saw her get on Amazon.
And let
me get on Amazon.
And let me add this.
Yeah, we get on Amazon. Yeah.
And I add this.
Get on Amazon. Let me load that card up.
And I add this too. Like he said, when we first got together, we first got married. We didn't really know each other to the full capacity of. We learned. We met each other, and I was in my 50s when I met you. I'll be 61 next month. So all the youthful part with him, I didn't get to experience that part of him, but I'm still youthful in mind, spirit, everything. I'm youthful. I'm not this old lady that want to sit around and just do nothing. And, so like he was saying about the gifts and everything. And I did mention that once because I noticed, I said, wait a minute now. My birthday just passed and I didn't see no gifts. So I'm like, no, because I know I showered you, I'm like, this is what I love to do. So, and like he said, this is the thing of learning. You have to learn your mate, even from the place of, where did he come from? And if you see something that's not the normal thing of how you would like to see it, get involved in that. Right. Find out what's going on, because you don't want to just keep sitting there, and in your own mind, building your own assumption and your own conclusion as to why these things are not happening. Like he said, he never had anybody to set the example for him, So then as we begin to talk, and I understood. So I didn't just fly off the handle and say, you don't never buy me nothing, such and such. I didn't do that. I want to know, is there a problem that, I like nice things. And, if I'm going to be, I enjoy buying things, but is there a problem that, you don't buy gifts or something like that? And he right away explained certain things. I'm sorry, I didn't mean no harm, and this and this and that. And it's like when I broke it down to him, and I didn't try to, just be this crazy hot-headed person with it. No, we sat down and we talked about it. And I really learned a whole lot. And I said, okay, and I just took for face value. Okay, I got it, And then I think once I made him aware of that, it's like it just took off. It took off because me not knowing, and I've heard testimonies when you teach. I've heard testimonies of, your life in the transparency that you talk about, the things that you had to endure in your life, but not knowing that a lot of that stuff is reasoning as to why, certain things you're not focused on certain things, or you just don't have the knack and know how. And it's okay to say, I don't know, or it's okay to say, and people would think, you're a grown man, such and such, but that's not always a true a statement of truth. Mm-hmm. A person has become molded and structured in pain and whatever things else that they had to endure in life, and when you get a mate and you become one with that person, of course you want to be interested. I want to know what's going on that we can work on, bringing it to a different place, that we can work on at least talking about it. Let's start there. Let's start talking about it. I don't expect you to just jump up and run to the store. Now that you just expound on something to me, you know what? I'm gonna look at that thing and I'm gonna be like, okay, God, what I need to do with this now, because I don't want to put my own assumptions or my fingerprints on it. So what I want to do is I want to learn of him. I want to learn what's going on because I want to be a help. And I tell you, and it was just in certain different little things, and one thing that I did learn is that, every relationship is different.
Right.
Every marriage is different, and you have like this one husband that does everything and do everything, and you're used to that. But when there's a different husband, there are different things. There are different chapters of life. There are different pages you have to turn. You have to learn. You can't expect this person to be that person. And in the beginning, I did that because I was used to doing things and having things a certain way, and everything was right there at your beck and call and this and that. But then God began to show me something, okay, this is not that person. What are you going to do with this? And then it's like the Lord will remind you of the things that he imparted in you. When God give you a word concerning your mate, what are you going to do with that word? Do you try to override what God said to you, or do you take the time and take and do the assessments that's necessary, and then you go to God? Because guess what? It's going to always take, as that mate, it's not going to always just take your voice, but you're going to have to go to God in some prayer and really get some answers, because I want to see him heal. I want to see you whole.
Right.
I want to see you be able to maneuver. And I don't see you as less of a man, because if you tell me there are some things that you've dealt with in life and some things that you didn't have opportunities to enjoy or to witness, this is what I have to do. I got to be attentive to that. I can't just say, oh, well, that's on you. No, I can't do that. So this is where you step in as a wife. And this is where wisdom comes in. You know what? Now I got to take the time to just sit here and, not try to figure out, but because it's not my, if I try to figure it out, it's my opinion that's going to come forth. But when I really go to God and say, okay, God, what's going on here? I'm going to get what I need. God may not give me all the answer to what it is, but he'll give me the tools to work through it. He will do that.
Back to them tools.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he will do that. So that is why I'm saying, it's very important that we learn our mates, and we'll learn many a times, we have a selfish nature.
Very much so.
Because God will show you something. He'll show you in certain situations. And with me, as I really begin to grasp it and really be attentive to it, I really felt like I had a selfish nature. I was like, okay, this is not my intention. See, because it made me correct me. And I even apologized. I said, if it's anything that I said, and I didn't fuss, but I don't ever want to belittle you or make you feel like you're insufficient or just anything. Because sometimes an expression, you don't really have to say anything. An expression or just a reaction or no reaction at all.
Oh yeah,
It speaks volume.
Big volume.
So you have to be really mindful of, put yourself on that side of the table.
That's now, very true, lady. Because
however you would want the conversation to go, that's the way you embark on that conversation. Mm-hmm. Put yourself on the other side.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times that people in marriage, they assume that everything is common. That's just like saying common sense is common. Common sense is not common to everyone because of perception. So you have to really get a good understanding before you put out that response to something. So, you just can't assume anything.
That's absolutely true. Yeah. Pastor C, we're going to go a little extra, maybe 15, 20 minutes a day. Go ahead and put up the first question. I know there's a lot of questions on the comment section. Let's address those questions. Probably go back to, okay, that's the one. As a single parent, how do you not feel guilty, anger, alarm, or exposed upon mentality when, let me read this slow so I can hear where it's coming from. As a single parent, how do you not feel guilty, anger, alarm, or exposed upon mentally when a potential partner tells you to focus on us, especially if you have adult children? Yeah. Okay. Whenever I read a question, I try to zero in on the spirit of it so I can not address it from a general, but from a specific. And so it sounds like if this is you, it sounds like what you're dealing with a couple things, and then we'll have everybody else speak. A lot of times when people complain or bring things to us, what they're feeling is true. The method don't have to be right. So it seems to be that the person that's saying focus on us feels interrupted by adult children.
Mhm.
That could be a problem. Not saying that it is. A lot of times adult children are problems in the us, and the person brings it up. Okay. But you said as a single parent, so you do have kids, how do you not feel guilty? I think sometimes guilt is needed to wake you up to truth that you may be ignoring. Not that you should live in guilt. We don't live in guilt and shame. But a lot of times guilt is the refusal to say I'm guilty. So I want to make sure that, and if I was with you, I could be able to see this person and ask more questions. But because sometimes when you deal with questions as a statement, just reading it, you don't get all the frequencies. But if there's any form of guilt, let's see if there's any truth to it. Let me put it that way. If there's any form of guilt, if my wife says to me, you don't never take me nowhere. And I say, how do I not feel guilty or angry or alarmed when she keep bringing up, I don't take her nowhere? Well, am I taking her somewhere? That's first thing we want to do. Because we don't want to make people think whenever you have a disagreement, somewhere both of y'all are right. People ain't just feeling something for no reason. So the feelings we got to examine, and where have they taken on other things, but where's the root of it at? And so we ask the question, first of all, is there adult children that's causing the problem? Want to do that. So if that's the case, don't feel guilty, accept responsibility that you have to learn how to put them in their place. You have to know how to balance out your marriage. If they're not a problem, then you shouldn't feel guilty because you're not guilty. Never feel guilty where you're not guilty. See? That's very key. But if we're feeling guilty, our feelings are telling us something's off. And that's the part we don't want to ignore, just to say, I don't want to be around here feeling guilty, but you also don't want to take responsibility. And a lot of, so we want to make sure that we're dealing with that. And so if there's any guilt or any anger, because anger, again, is a element of God that he needs. He tells us to be angry. Don't ignore that feeling. He said, but don't sin with it. Be angry, because the minute you're not angry, you are divorcing your mate without them even knowing it. The minute that you have no feelings about something, you become numb to it. That's how you stay in something and y'all not connected. And so anger is saying, stop it, stop it, stop it. This is taking me somewhere. And so anger is good. It's good because it makes you face where you could be going if you don't deal with it. If you don't be angry, you will sin. If you be angry and deal with it and say, okay, this is making me angry. This ain't good for me. This is taking me out of my environment. Now we can apply positive solutions to that feeling. You see what I'm saying? But don't never ignore your feelings, especially, and I'll say this, if this person is a single mother, the worst thing you can ever do is have your wife cut you off. When she no longer getting angry over something that you're doing, and she no longer angry over it, y'all done in that area. See, so you want to do that. So as a single parent, how do I not feel guilty, angry, or alarmed upon mentality when a potential partner tells you to focus on us? They really telling you before we can even get involved, I see a problem, because it looked like you single, but y'all thinking about being in a relationship, and the person is saying you got adult children. And I'm already seeing where your adult children in this, and I'm not saying this is your case, but a lot of times, whether it's male or female, they can already see that's going to be a problem. That daughter got control over you. We ain't even married yet, and she already has control. Or that son has your emotions. And so they're already saying that. And you don't want to feel guilty, as my wife is saying, because that's your daughter. That's your son. You have an obligation to be a parent to them. But where is the balance? That's what we want to make sure. Now, the person could be possessive. See, I want to deal with all the scenarios. What do you got a possessive potential partner? and they already, some people want you to cut off everybody for them. See, and so we got it. So that's why a lot of times on these questions, almost like, I do interviews in my mind, and people ask you certain questions, and I would say, we can't take a 30-minute show to answer this question. This is one of those questions where we probably need to do some more counseling and do some more, to ask more questions, because I could give you an answer and don't totally apply because I didn't ask enough other questions. How long has he been dating? When did he first come up with the children? Is this y'all only been dating a week and he already saying this? Okay, that's too early. Or, have y'all been dating 6 months? You know what I'm saying? This is the case. When he say the children is a problem, you starting to feel guilty. Why is he saying the children are a problem? Is this every time y'all be together? The kid got to come. I need to know more of what is really the weight. I need to feel the weight of the question, especially, because adult children have to be handled different than little kids, even when you're dating a single. If they're adult, and when we say adult, how much adult? Are we saying 17 adult? Or are we saying 40 adult? Big difference. You can be adult because they're 18, but really they never been trained, so they're not 18. So the mother knows that they ain't ready for life, even though they're 18. If they 40 and having problems, then okay. And if they 40, then I'm assuming you 60, you 56, you 16, 17. And so all those scenarios make a difference. How old are y'all? How long has this been? How long have y'all been dating? But at the end of the day, you don't want to ever feel guilty. So we want to deal with that feeling. We want to deal with, if it's anger, where is the anger going? Where is the anger really coming from? Because sometimes it ain't even coming from the issue. It's coming from the question of the issue. Some of us don't like to be questioned about anything. You anger me. Don't ask me about my kids. Don't ask me about that. Don't worry about that. You see what I'm saying? And so we got to deal with that. Alarms never can be ignored. Any form of alarm. If you see alarm of depression, you can never ignore alarms. But the problem with alarms is most of the time we attack alarms and not with the alarm. It's like a person, your smoke detector go off. You can't smack the smoke detector. The problem is the fire on the stove. The smoke detector went off because the fire is too hot. The steam from the pot is going to burn the house down. And so the alarm is saying there is a problem. But instead of you going to the problem, you attack the detector. Now you taking the batteries out, take it off the wall, then you lost your house because you didn't know how to read the alarm. The alarm is not the problem. It's saying there is a problem.
Yeah.
So we got to know that. So yeah. What would y'all say, Pastor? You got anything on that?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question right there, and we'll be talking about that kind of blended families. That us right there. You hit a very lot of different keys. Why? Does he? Feel like that? And you also said how early. Did he mention that? Because it can be too early. And the single parent have to hear his side. And not just go from that guilt, which that guilt can be an alarm, as you said, that there is something you cannot ignore that, and you have to be willing to be open and to allow someone else to come into your space that you only had, by yourself, and so that it takes a lot of communication. Those are the things we're going to talk about, dealing with communication, because that's one of the biggest things, getting to understand one another. What are your expectations? How do you think about discipline? What do you feel about discipline? Your children, what do you think is too much? What do you think, is too less communication? And then dealing with conflict, because there's going to be some conflict. And then in dealing with conflict, you got to be committed, because it's very easy. Anybody can give up. I often say that anybody can give up. But when you're committed through something, that commitment will build your character. It builds your character, because in order for you to be committed to something, you're going to have to get rid of a lot of the I's, and begin to think about the us, And so, yeah, that's very, very good.
My wife might have something. I'll say this too. A lot of times, single parents, God has assigned you to raise your kids for a certain level. And a lot of times when new people come in, they don't know the assignment. Let's say you know that your child needs extra attention. You want to date. You don't want to be single all your life, but you know your assignment with your kids. That person needs to understand that, because it's so easy for them to say, "What about us?" when they don't understand the burden that you have with your kids. This really happens when you have kids by a man and you're no longer with that man. It's a new man coming in. There's so many things you know that your kids are not getting because that man is not in their life. The new man come in, he's thinking about us, and you thinking about, I want us too, but not us at the expense of losing my kid. My daughter don't have this, my son don't have this, my kids don't have this. And so now we need to talk about the assignment. If we are supposed to be us, you got to know what you're helping me with.
Right. Because you have to understand too.
And the timing of that.
And you're not coming in just to date me.
Right. Exactly. Right.
You got to date my kids as well and learn my children.
Right.
Because you're going to meet my first priority if you got any interest in me. Because that's it right there. My kids, they exist. Right. So what you're going to do, you bring your children out in the beginning and have him to establish or her to establish relationship with your children as well. Because you can't just date me and we have our own little private world. And then when the children come knocking or the children want to be involved or have some questions or want some, whatever time with us, it's a problem. Right. No. Right. No.
The truth of the matter is, if you have kids, especially when they're young, there's already a us. Mm-hmm. You ain't making the us. There's already a us. And so we're saying, the woman is saying, do you want to be with us?
Mm. Yeah.
So you got to know that us. And then this comment said, especially when they're adults, just because kids are grown don't mean the assignment is over. You got to know that too. Just because they're out of the house don't mean the assignment is over. This is where you have to introduce that. This is why we have to talk about what are you called to? Before I met you, what was your assignments? Because the woman is called to help, the man is called to help. You got to know that. You got to know that. There's no difference that if I get married, my wife married me, she married us. When she married us, she married the ministry. Even though she don't want to be married to a pastor, I'm a pastor. So you can't say I don't want the pastor part of you. That there's no separation. See, and so you got to know that. And so just like people have kids in various ways. You met me, I was a CEO. We first dated, we had to date downstairs from my business because I had so much time. You know that going in. See what I'm saying? You know that going in. So whatever the case may be. And that's why we have to have dialogue. How do you see, when you look at me, do you see us? Are you prepared? Because you may think you're ready for me, but you're not ready for us. Mm. And you'll cause division. And so all those, and don't make me feel guilty because God gave me this assignment. Don't make me feel guilty because, and this is going in various ways. My wife, I thank God for my wife. She don't make me feel guilty that I have to study so much. That's what I'm called to. I gotta have these hours of time. Not only am I a preacher, I'm a book writer. I got movies, plays. I got so much that I have to. I'm the person that God gave 10 talents to. When God come back, he don't want to hear, you know what? I was with my wife. I didn't get a chance to. No, you better take care of what I gave you. So y'all responsible. A lot of times we don't know the assignment of the marriage. Y'all got married for one another. Y'all didn't get married ever talking about the assignment. You're not married just to have sex and have a house with a dog. You married for spiritual reasons. For marriage is a spiritual assignment on the earth realm. So that's very key. Come on, Sister Lavern. Then we'll take another question too, Pastor C.
I was just going to say it's a lot of different dynamics to that question. And it, when you start dealing with adult children, if let's say if there's a single mom who engages with a male who doesn't have any children, then you dealing with your children's issues. That man has to know, like you said, what the assignment is, because he come in, he wants the time, but at the same time, that mother has to learn how to give up some of those areas of dealing with those adult children. Right. That right there, that was a lot. That was layered from top to bottom.
That's what I'm saying, because it may be that she too. You're absolutely right. It could be that she don't know how to let go. And it could be that her fear, many mothers, their fear is to let their kids go because they don't know how to be in a single relationship with a man. They only know how to be in things that they're not. This is why a lot of women were married men that they have to nurture. They can't marry a man that comes in and establish order because he don't need nurture. And so there's a lot of, and things shape us, like things shaped in my life that my wife was able to understand, and she had patience with me to help me. Well, what shaped the woman? See, it's on both sides. Because you may be strong in one area and say, well, he didn't get that. Well, you didn't get this. You don't know how to be a wife without being a mother to the man. See, so all these dynamics that we have to learn, because sometimes you're not letting go to kids. You'll never have us with him because you always do that. On some ends, that your assignment is not over for that. He got to know that. So again, we got to sit down and see what is God saying for that marriage. It's not a cookie cut answer that this fits all of those. You can have 6 people with that exact same question, and the answers can be different for all 6 based upon that assignment for that. And so that's hoping that we gave some insight for that. Give me another one, Pastor C.
It was some up top.
You may have to go back a little ways.
Yeah.
One person said that they want to be with somebody and their husband is working all the time. See if you can find that question. How does a man navigate through that? How does a man navigate through that who will not or cannot hear you when you try to express your feelings? Counseling. You need counseling. One of the major problems in relationships is the lack of trained ears to hear one another. You have to be trained for somebody to teach. That's why even Jesus would say, those who have ears, let them hear what the Spirit is saying. Most problems in a marriage is the lack of accountability to hearing. So one of the things that I teach in counseling, I'll say A to your husband, and I'll tell the husband, say A back to your wife. And most of the time, people don't give you back what you give them. They give you back what they want you to hear. So if I say to you, I need more of your time, my wife should say, are you saying to me that you need more of your you need more of my time from you? Then I should say yes. Why is that important? Then I know you heard it right. Because it don't matter what you say if I don't hear what you say. If my receiver is perverted, then you'll be arguing over. I tell you that all the time, and I'll be saying I ain't getting it that way because we have a problem in the translation. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's in the translation. So the first step should be that I heard what you said. You're saying that you don't have enough of my time. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Then respond. This is what we usually do. I need more of your time. How much time you need? So now you're responding. You're not making me feel that what I said was important. You letting me know you shouldn't even complain about this. How much time you need? So now I'm feel like what? I mean, I'm bothering you now. So now we already on D and we ain't solve A. See? So that's a very key. Why cannot hear you when you express yourself? So again, remember, it's always 2 ways. It's never just a one party. So it could be the way you express it. Do you express it with a tone of attack? Do you express it with a tone of hopelessness? Or are you a complainer all the time? See what I'm saying? Look, we're just looking at the way the expression could be off. Could he be insecure? Could he be wounded? If you're talking to a wounded person, a light touch, they'll scream and holler. And so you will think that, man, I said it nice, but you said it nice to a wounded dog. So they're going to attack. So now you offended by the attack, not knowing they're wounded. So there's a lot of things we have to ask. They just want to say, and this is what I come under poor counseling. And so the counselors that I used to go to, they would say, you didn't learn to hear your wife. I don't know how to hear her. When she talks to me, I hear my mama. You see what I'm saying? So there are things that we need to dissect first. Why can't he hear you? Is something wrong with his ears? It's the same thing with kids who we used to whoop back in the day because they wouldn't get good grades. And then somebody that was smart enough to say, well, what is that letter right there? And he go F and it's a D. They go, oh, no, it's not that he's dumb. He need glasses. But you've been whooping him all the time because you never got to the real issue of why he can't do what he can't do. And so these are the things we have to be able to. And so, but I like the word, how does we navigate through? Because that that word there seems to be a positive. You have a
Right.
positive, you have a positive attitude about you want to you know you got to navigate. So how do I
We're
navigate?
not gonna stop walking.
I'm not going to stop walking. I want to navigate. I haven't given up on this. Not trying to attack. How does a man navigate through that who will not or cannot hear when he expresses himself? We got to check. Always say if a person has a nerve damage. Sometimes I can't hear you. It's like a person can stick his hand in the fire. You don't feel the fire burning, and they come to find out no, because his nerves are gone. Sometimes when you're in a relationship, the nerves are gone. They can't even hear you. So we got to deal with, is there a deficiency in hearing? Is there a rebellion in hearing? Is there a problem in expression? We got to deal with all the elements that may be there to see why. Once we get them on the table, then we got to say, okay, this is why. Uh, have she ever heard anyone else? Have you ever said anything in a relationship that she did hear? If you have at least a history, sometimes you hear, sometimes you don't. Okay, let's find out what she did hear. What did you do then that she was able to do it? Because it's almost like a woman trying to have a baby. You could think something wrong with the man and come to find out she's barren. Or you could think something wrong with the woman and find out he's impotent. It's not that y'all not making love. We have a problem with the other things. And so we have to look at, is there impotency on the man part? Is there a barren on the woman part? We have to look at those things of why there's not a connection. See what I'm saying? I'll say this. If a woman has ever been, one of the best things that will cause a woman not to hear you is infidelity. So I get deep when I counsel. Have you ever cheated on her? Because infidelity shuts the ears of a woman. She ain't hearing nothing you got to say once infidelity comes. And we got to remove that spirit of infidelity many times to be able to get her safe. Because wherever a woman doesn't feel safe, she puts up walls automatically. She's designed. A woman is not designed to live under a unsafe environment. That's why God commands a man to love her. That's just this like she earns all this love. It's saying the way I made her, if she's not under love, she cannot be her best. And so we have to check the environment, because a woman is designed to receive. Anytime a woman can't hear a man, something's wrong with her DNA. Because she's designed. Everything about her is about entrance. She's the womb. Everything about her. She's born to receive a man's word. That's how a man's ministry gets. That's how it multiplies. You speak to the woman carries your baby and releases and gives it back to you. She's designed to hear. She's designed that. So when her hearing is off, something has happened to her DNA. I'm just giving you various angles. It could be on the man part, it could be on the woman. There's a lot of angles. And remember this, even for everybody listening, never think there's only one way to your situation. It's not. Marriages are by God. Yeah. So that's what I would say to that. Y'all would have anything else to say on that?
Yeah, because it's really that, marriage, it doesn't come with instruction manuals as we would have liked it, because we many times come up with our own instructions, our own definitions of what marriage is. But the thing is, when you really step into the place of understanding covenant, then you understand really what marriage is really about. You understand that, there are going to be things that's going to take place in your marriage that's only a part of your marriage process. Some things we can eliminate automatically based on what we're trying to bring in, or either based on what we're trying to take out that's needed. So it's really important that we understand covenant. We have to stop focusing so much on the word marry and understand that marriage is covenant. And when we begin to focus more on covenant, begin to study more on covenant, begin to pray that covenant, what God really means when he said covenant, pray and ask God to give us the revelation of covenant, then we can begin to really proceed in different angles and directions of our marriage, because our understanding has been open to really who we are. First of all, to one another, to God first, and then what the union is to God first, and then how we're going to be able to walk into what God has ordained for us to be. So we're no longer just moving off our own wants, desires, and needs, but we'll be beginning to form a bond of obedience towards what God is explaining to us. So when we learn covenant, then we can walk. We can walk further. We can walk longer. We can even have a greater stamina for what's necessary when we need to have these moments that we need to have discussions and not arguments, because we begin to learn through the eyes and ears in the spirit of covenant exactly who we are and what is the purpose, what the purpose is on the marriage. We learn that.
Okay, and I see Dennis, and I kind of, this is the Dennis that I know. He's a very powerful man of God. So I'm seeing some of your comments, Dennis. It doesn't that she doesn't. Isn't she that doesn't seem it?
He says
Is it?
is that she doesn't seem to hear me.
It's she's that she doesn't seem
That,
it. Okay. Well,
is that she doesn't seem
we
to
can
hear me.
we can spend some time and talk on that, Dennis, so I can get more clarity on what you're saying. And maybe, like I said, a lot of times when we say "don't hear me," we're not saying "didn't hear me." But sometimes we saying "don't feel me" or "don't understand." So, like I said, we'll have more talk. If there is infidelity that has cut off the communication, is there any hope of reconciliation or resolution? Absolutely. The first infidelity, first of all, it's a job of the Holy Ghost first. Okay, and the reason why a woman is not designed to ever experience infidelity, it's not even God didn't have a plan B for that. Right? That's something we should never do. That's why He hates divorce because of that. But we know that love can cover everything. So what happens is the person through the Holy Spirit has to allow the Holy Spirit to take her back to the place that was never touched by the physical realm. In other words, when God put us together, my first love for you wasn't in infidelity. I got to go back to where it was in God, and I have to see the original purpose of the marriage and my love for that to be accomplished. I have to do that. But that's the job of the Holy Spirit. The reason why I say that, because most of the time you don't let the rapist heal you about being raped. Most of the time, the person that commits the crime don't let them. So this is why the Bible says the anointed heals the broken heart. Most of the time we think love would heal the broken heart, but most of the time love is what broke the heart. So love cannot be used. The anointing has to be used. Many times for broken hearts, infidelity causes broken hearts. It takes the anointing. So it's a job privately. It's that woman getting with God, and God begins to tell her, this is what I put together. He'll give her the level of forgiveness at that level, because that is a core. Infidelity is a core. It's not a scratch on the hand. It's a core. The Holy Ghost have to heal the core things. It's not you telling her how long it takes. You can't put timing on healing when you cause it. And so but it is an answer for it. Her pursuit to be whole, her pursuit to be where God designed her to be, will bring her into embracing that level of medicine for that. So what you do as an intercessor, you pray and you ask God to heal her, and you wait for that. You wait for that. That's a job of the Holy Spirit. You can't rush that. You can't determine how long it takes. And this is the sign that it will work if you're willing to still stay in the marriage. If she says, I don't want to lose my marriage, but right now I can't deal with you, then let that be. See? Most of the time, they'll have to start over with somebody else. And even if they start over with somebody else, but it is savable. Okay. I know marriages that have went through infidelity and they stayed. Now, it was a hard year. Sometimes there's no intimacy for a whole year. Sometimes a whole lot of seem to be punishment. Sometimes our carnality gets in it. Sometimes there's a whole lot of attack. There's a whole lot. But if she wants the marriage to work and want healing, the Holy Ghost can do it. Okay. Yeah. Some of the things I would tell you, if she's deciding to stay in the marriage, then keep her away from people who don't agree with her. If she wants to, because there's too many other voices gonna be like, girl, ain't no way in the world I can do it. You see, and so then now you're gonna have other voices that's gonna support that flesh.
That's
When
true.
you're making a decision, see, when you're making a decision that's not normal in the odds, you gotta stay isolated and let God do that. You have to know you're called for that. Some people are called for that. You are, and this is how you know you're graced to handle certain things. See, some people could never be with a man that cheat. Some people could never be with a man that was gay. Some people can never be with a woman that has a criminal record. Some people can never be with a woman that got kids. You have to know what you're graced for. I had a friend in Ohio. He married a woman. She was very wild. She slept with every man in the male course. There were 50 men in the male course. Not one of those men had not slept with this woman. She met a person out of town, got married. He joined her church and joined the male course. All the men loved her husband. He was very gentle. He said, "Man, we love you, man. You're a good dude. But we want you to know we all been with your wife. We want you to know if we smile in your face." He said, "I know." That was her past. He had the grace to deal with that. He had the grace to deal with that. See?
Wow.
So you got to know what you've been graced for.
That's right.
No, it's getting late, Pastor C. Is there another one? I know it's getting late. This is good. We have something else that we need to address. Can you put that one up about the woman? How does co-parenting? And this is why, and I'll say this for everybody who's asking these questions, thank you for that. This is why this conference is needed. This is why if you can come. See, we're taking our time now. You really getting the conference now. But see, so this is why you need to come. And if you're not going to come, see how much we're helping you, then support somebody to come. See, that's very key. So make sure that you're doing that. Okay, we're going to take one or two and then we're going to cut it off. How does co-parenting works when a spouse never had natural children? Again, it's the work of the Holy Ghost. I don't have any natural children. My wife had 6 kids. We got 33 grandkids. I was able, through the Holy Spirit told me what to do. I worked a good job at Wells Fargo. I had saved a whole lot of money in my 401k. I left it all. I had my own car, my own apartment, my own job. I had 5 weeks of vacation time. I left it all to come here to start over because I knew that I was called to move away. My wife was not called to uproot. Mine was just a move. If she would have came with me, she'd had to uproot. And so I made this sacrifice. You have to allow the Holy Spirit to speak to your man. When you are in something that you don't have the experience, it comes from the Holy Ghost. I was a drug and alcohol counselor for 12 years of my life. Never been on crack cocaine in my life. But God gave me revelation of how to minister to people who was on crack cocaine. It comes from God when you don't have the experience. T.D. Jakes' best ministry was Woman That Art Loose, and he's a man. That came from God. Dr. Miles Monroe was married for 30 years. His best books was Single, Married, and Life After Divorce. Didn't have the experience of that book, but had the revelation of it. And so many times God will give you a revelation of something you don't have the experience of. Do not fight people because they don't have the natural experience. Did they get it from God?
That's why I say
And you can get it from God to show you how. I have always wanted kids. Always wanted kids. I used to dream that somebody would call me and say, "I had your baby and I didn't tell you." I just couldn't wait on it. I always wanted kids. Don't have any, but I do have kids, spiritual kids, and my wife has kids. And guess what? I think I'm a great grandfather. I think I'm a great father, and God gave that to me to work with my wife with that. So the Holy Ghost can do that. Don't despise it because they don't have the experience. And most men of God, they'll tell you things God called you to, you don't have no experience. It's about making yourself available. It's not about your ability. It's about your availability to God.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would say to that. Anything, Pastor Rogers, would y'all have anything to say as we close out?
Yeah, that's good. And once again, that's a big factor right there. Blended family. One who doesn't have children, they're still becoming blended one with that person that does, have children, and it is the leading, of the Holy Spirit, because that person have to be open, to becoming not single, and that is not about them. I think one thing they need to do is spend time, with, that other person and their children, because they could be the very person that God has placed in that single parent life to help them. But if they're not open to that, or if they're not willing to deal with that, because that can be challenging when you have used to have been being by yourself. All your decisions is based on you, what you want, what you don't like, where you don't want to go. And when you take up on that responsibility, it's no longer about I. Back what we was talking about earlier, one of you mentioned, I think it was Apostle, you can't just think that, it's all about you. When you take up on someone that has another family, children, you don't just get them, you don't just get that person, you get all of them. It's a package deal. You can't just take one thing out, and then reject the other. You have to be open and willing to embrace all, and you have to remove a lot of eyes, and see things from a different perspective, and be willing to change. Age play a part. How old is that person? Because the older a person get, the more set in their ways that they become, and the harder it is, to change. Especially, like if it's a man gets set in his ways. The older he get, the harder it is. Sometimes will be more open to embrace and to love, because that's naturally, genetically how God has designed them. So.
And really, when you're becoming, like you said, blended family, whether you're male or female, husband or wife, you're coming in as a step parent, and understanding that when you coming in as a step parent, you're really taking the obligation. You're not just stepping into, but you're stepping up to resume the responsibility of.
Right.
That's good.
And you're stepping up. You're not just stepping in, but you're stepping up to a responsibility of resuming the position as a father, or resuming the position as a wife to these children, or father or mother to these children. You're stepping into another person's position, but you're stepping up. And that's the step part of it. I'm stepping into position.
Just step up.
That's what it's all about. Stepping.
That's good. Take heed to all this. Make sure you come to the conference. I did want to address that one issue. I was feeling something, Pastor C. I don't know if you can get to it. I think the one woman said that she was in a relationship. She has a partner, but he don't give her no time. He's always working, but she desires to have a mate. And so I want to make sure that, was I hearing that you're starting to, I feel abandoned. I think that's a response to it. I feel abandoned, but I decided to go with it, and maybe he'll get tired of working 2 jobs. See, I would recommend we get counseling on this. I'm hearing a whole lot. I'm not giving up on him. I'm trying to support him. Yeah, but you got voices, and thank God for, you don't want to give up, but I'm hearing things, and I don't want to misread into it, but maybe he'll get tired of working 2 jobs. See that? Okay. I hear what you're saying, but I also hear what's going on. My husband is working there it is. My husband is working 2 full-time jobs. And I'm feeling like this is not what I signed up for. See, that's what I was hearing. I want a mate. So I get it. So there's a lot of things that are wrestling with you. And so we need counseling. I hope you're able to come to the conference. If not, set up some type of conference, either with me or some man of God or woman of God that you trust with it, because the devil is fighting. First of all, he's fighting the marriage. We got to look at that. Why is your husband working 2 jobs and working so much? And I think you said one of the comments is he's from a foreign country and he likes to run after money. And so we got to look at that. When money is something you're chasing. So there's a lot of things we got to, because one of the strongest gods that will break up a marriage is money.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to look at that. Okay. And so I would say, and I believe you are, Sister Patricia, thank you for your dedication. Wanting to solve this matter, then we got to go to the next step and get some counseling. Even if he doesn't agree to counseling, let us counsel you to give you how to respond to that and how to fight some voices. Don't think because both parties are not wanting counseling, one party can get educated. Sometimes the husband is sanctified by the wife is sanctified by the husband. And so one of the things that we don't do in marriage, we don't make enough investments. I ask people when I counsel them before they get married, how many books have you read on marriage? Why are you about to get married and you never made an investment? The Bible says before you build a house, you must count the cost. You have not counted up the cost. And so we got to, and that's something we got. It's like a doctor. You can't stay a doctor without updating your medical. You got to learn the new laws. You got to learn the new medicines come in. You can't be a beautician unless you keep going back to the school. They got to go back as they changing hairstyles. Only in marriage do we not update. We using old stuff from our grandmother. And so you have to have an update constantly on how to deal with issues because we're constantly changing. The person you married to is not the person you with now. You can't expect for them to be, they ain't the way I was. They were 17 when you met them. You want them to be 17 still? See? So we got to look at those things. You have changed. You see what I'm saying? And all those things. And sometimes you don't find out what people's real pastors until they get married. Sometimes you don't find out that they really, I didn't know they love money that much. You didn't have to because all the money he spent was on dinners, never on bills. See? So now y'all get married and now all of a sudden he ain't taking you out to dinner anymore because he helping y'all with the electric, the gas, the 2-car notes, the dogs, the grass. And so you find out. And so that you didn't really know that. See what I'm saying? And so all those different things. So that's the reason why we need these conferences. Every church leader, start having marriage conferences at your church. Quit wanting your church to grow, but you ain't invested in your church. You have no children conferences. You have no youth conferences. You have no marriage conferences. These are needed.
Correct.
Needed. People need time to be able to ask you questions and dialogue. Quit preaching to them, but they never get a chance to raise their hand.
That's right.
You have a format that allows a interchange to come. Yes.
All the way around.
You know, if you go to the doctor, after a while, the doctor will say, you know what, I'm a general doctor, but let me sign you to a specialist. You know, I do everything, but I don't specialize in ankle bones. You know what I'm saying? And many times in church, we have never been assigned to a specialist in that area.
Mm-hmm.
This marriage conference is dealing with, they specialize in being single, married, or like covenant relationships. We're focusing on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Sister Patricia, I'm going to email you. I'm going to inbox you my number. That's my friend.
Oh, is it? Okay,
yeah,
great.
She's on my Facebook page.
Okay, great.
We've never talked personally. We chit chat every once in a while on the page, but I have a heart for her. So yeah,
okay,
definitely. I'm going to send you my
Oh, great. She says I'll never leave him. I'm committed. I'm taking care of. And thank you, Sister Patricia, because you're not the only person to deal with that. So thank you for being transparent and sharing that. And thank you for letting me know. And I appreciate the last comment. A lot of times we read comments and people will leave with, she don't want to be with her husband. I heard her say that. No, she want to be with her husband. She just want him to spend more time and not get caught up in the jobs. And that's good. And she's already talking to her leader. See, that's for other pastors. Quit thinking because we help people out. You're trying to steal my members. We ain't trying to steal your members. We're trying to help members.
That's right.
You can't steal. You can't steal parts off the body. You can't steal that. We're one body. And what we do is we just, just go by whatever the Lord have you to do, whatever your assignment is. We move our assignment. Right. God, He assigns us to different ones. He assigned different ones to us. So the thing is, we're just moving as God have us to move. It's not about trying to come in and try to take this. No, it's not that. It's about your availability to God and just doing what God, has you to do. Whatever purpose God has on your life is being fulfilled. So that's what it's all about. It doesn't matter if I don't even know you, if I don't never go to, I've never been to church with you. No, it's not about that. It's just about obeying God and moving when God say move, and then getting in way to be used by God on purpose.
Amen. Every joint supply. We're going to end here. Yeah. Go ahead, Pastor Rogers, Sister Rogers, if y'all have any last comments, and then y'all can close this out in prayer. Cash App, $ Apostle Robert Jenkins, PayPal, Apostle RJ. You know who those commitment. Make sure that you're giving. Make sure you're supporting the Patreon. It's growing. We're adding classes. So that's great. Make sure you do that. Don't use this platform as an example. Well, I ain't got to give. It's a Monday. Make sure you give it consistently. Make sure you do that. Support us so we can support other people. This has been beneficial to you. You're not the only person that we need to help. And so when you do that, one who gives you spiritual, you give carnal. So make sure you're doing that. We're going to turn the last words over to Pastor Davis Lavern. Anything they want to say. Again, it's in Detroit, Michigan. Make sure that you register. There is a registration. There is a link for it. It's coming up this Friday. So if you have not done anything yet, you're going to have to move with urgency to make sure, because it starts this Friday. We would love for you to be there. If you're not going to be there, and you know you have financial means to be there, you just don't have the time, support someone. Support, contact Pastor Dave. I would love to support someone. Do you have anyone in your area that wants to come? Not able, I'll cash up y'all the money to do that. Let's begin to do that. I can't be there, but I can get you there. Let's start getting people where they need to be. You know, there's some matter of fact, let's start blessing people with birthday gifts to help out their marriage. As a birthday gift to you and your husband, I know y'all been going through some things. I'm paying for y'all to go through the conference. Let's start doing that. Let's invest in people's marriage. We like to talk about it when it falls. Let's help it rise. Let's help it rise. And so let's keep Pastor.
Yes, that's good. So hopefully you all have just been enjoying the appetizer of what is to come, the main meal. And so it's not too late to get registered. We do have transportation for those that, fly in, have 2 vans that will be available to help to transport. We're looking to have a wonderful time covering topics as far as blended families, infidelity, communication, being homeless, being away apart, from each other. Just a whole plethora of things that we want to deal with. And we pray that out of this, there's healing, there's rekindling, there's more communication. You have strength to be able to conflict, conflict resolution, not only just saying that you have a conflict. Well, how do you, resolve, being open to truth, transparency, just so many dynamics that we want to cover, and to have that time away, from family, your phones, and not feel guilty about it. So we want to make sure that you get registered. You can go to Restoration Bethel Flint Facebook, or you can go to my page, David Rogers, or my wife page, Lavern Rogers. We have the information pinned up at the top of our page, or you can even go to Divine Site Ministries to get the information. The hotel is going to be in Novi, Michigan, that Friday and that Saturday. And then on that Sunday, we're coming back to Flint, about 45 minutes away, and we're going to close it out. We're going to have our normal 11 o'clock service, and then we're going to have our 4 p.m. service where we're going to close out with the couples retreat, and not just for couples, not just for marriages, but also for singles. If you're looking to get married, the apostle said that one of the things that we fail to do is to invest, in our relationships, getting to know one another, so God is expecting you to invest in what he has allowed to come together. If you feel that is the one that God has sent to you, invest in that, up front. You may find out that it might not be the one, or it could be the one. So you can't be afraid to find out. It's better to know up front than it is to get down the road years down the line and got yourself into something and don't know how to get out of it. And that's
right. Because I always say you got to know who and what you're marrying.
That happens so much. We've counseled people that I didn't know this. I didn't know this about you. Well, you didn't take the time to find out. You didn't get an understanding of what marriage, what covenant. Lady Jenkins hit it. Covenant. It's not so much about marriage, but covenant, that agreement. Are you willing to agree, in this? Are you going to be willing to commit to this? Because marriage, it takes a lot. It takes a lot. It takes 2, but it's good work. It's good work. Good commitment. Yeah.
All right, Sister Lavern, you have anything? Are you good?
Get registered, show up, invest in yourselves before you get into something.
I would love to see everybody there. Yes. I mean, every name that's on the screen, and even for the ones that, just might chime in later on, we giving you a personal invitation to be there. Just come out and join us. I can guarantee you that there will be something that you can take home, and not only just take home, but I know that there will be something, whatever you have need of, God will assist you in that need. God will assist you in just the information in order to grow, in order to bring balance, whatever it may be. That I'm sure that, God will meet you there.
Yes.
Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for going an extra. See, people always tell me I go long, but when you get talking, it's easy. It's almost been 2 hours. So it's 1 hour and 45 minutes already. And so God bless everybody. Thank you. Hope to see you. Please meet us tomorrow. We're going to continue on the battle for your mind. So see you tomorrow. But most of all, make sure you register. We'll see many of you this Friday, this Saturday, and this Sunday. Love you. God bless you. Walk in God's favor.
Man.
Do you know I love you more than life itself? Yeah. I can't see me with no one else. Yeah. Do you know I love you more than life itself? I can't see me with no one else. And I would never think twice, for your love is precise. I can never lose life with your love. God chose you to show me his love. This union that came from above. Your love made the way. You were my aid when you stayed. I can never lose life with your love. Yes. Ooh. Never lose life with your love. Do you know I love you more than life itself? I can't see me with no one else. I would never think twice, for your love is precise. I would never lose life with your love. God chose you to show me his love. This union that came from above. And your love made the way. You were my aid when you stayed. I can never lose life with your love. And you can never see me leave. From my heart to your soul, I cleave. For our love will stay, and it won't fade away. I can never lose life with your love. Be without you. Always think about you, yeah.